All right, so good morning, everybody. It's 9:34 on this Tuesday, the 7th day of March. Yeah, we have not had a snow talk in a while. I know, as you're about to see, we really don't have much to worry about as we get into the short term, but it is going to get into a colder setup as we get the next few days. Already today, it's cooler outside. It's actually close to normal is what we're expecting this afternoon, but it is going to be quite the shock to the system. I'll have an update on those trends, and of course, I have an update as well on the latest on the power outages in the area from Friday's wind event that we're still dealing with out there. As always, you can comment on Facebook, Twitter, and of course on YouTube. And if you're on streaming, hello, welcome. And again, if you have any questions or just a shout out or even something nice to say, nothing mean to say today, then pass that along. All right, let's get right into the setup when it comes to the snowboard. Again, I don't see anything that's really standing out at the moment, but there are a couple of items to at least watch. The one Sunday night, and this one's probably a big stretch at the moment because the system itself is starting to shear out. So there is a chance to get a brief mix there. Not a big ordeal. Next Tuesday, about a week from today, perhaps. There is certainly at least the system is going to be developing close to us, and we may have something snowy involved there. But at the moment, as expected, you normally just don't see anything show up too far out in range once you get beyond 3 days, especially. It's got to be much closer once you get into the month of March, especially. All right, more on that coming up in a few moments. A quick update. Outside, we've got a overcast, gloomy setup out there. That beautiful sun that we had yesterday is gone for now. But the sun looks like it's on track to get back through these clouds as we head into the afternoon. All right, here's an update on the power outages. It's still got 2 counties that are standing out as far as relative to your customer base in those counties. Percentages are a bit higher than the rest of the counties, but that's going to be Oldham and into areas Franklin County. But even in Louisville, still dealing with about 16,000. This is actually down and has improved, I should say. 2,000 since I first loaded up the blog here today. So they are making some progress. I'm sure the colder weather is what a lot of you don't want to. They have no power and watch on streaming right now. That's not what you want to deal with because it was a pretty chilly night. It's going to get colder tonight, certainly, And that's something that we haven't really faced so far, really, with the power outages, is the idea of your home getting colder now. That makes a big difference. Hitting 78 degrees in the afternoon makes it a lot easier to kind of get around and do what you need to do. But you get colder, then you start running into a whole other ball game. So hopefully today we'll continue to see those numbers improve dramatically before we get into some of that colder stuff coming our way. I promise we'll keep you updated on that. And of course, on LG&E's website, and for KU Energy, they'll keep you updated as it is in real time as those updates come in. All right, 46 degrees right now into Louisville, 45 in Shelbyville, 40 right now as you get into North Vernon. Now, cloud cover, you saw it there on the satellite, or at least from the SkyTrack camera. Now you're seeing it on the satellite, blanketing right across the Ohio River itself, southern Indiana, northern areas of Kentucky. Some of you south, where's Glenda? Is Glenda in here? There you are, Glenda. Hello. Let me know. Oh, no, you're sitting. See, Glenda still doesn't have power, so she's sitting there as well. I think someone else I saw. Well, who else was without power? Rebecca, I think, didn't have power as well this morning. So, again, some of you certainly don't have it. And, again, I'm hoping you guys get it taken care of today. I think some of my family, I still had some issues, I think, down south, still with some power being out. But by all means, if you're south right now, you got some sun. But, again, that blanket of clouds, the big issue here, and this will help today, I hope, it is on track to improve, and it should. The modeling will really hit hard here the next few hours on trying to thin out these clouds, break them up, get some sun rays involved, and then go mostly sunny. Unfortunately, the mostly sunny period this afternoon looks to be a very short window because clouds roll back in later tonight. Now, some of the modeling is way too aggressive on getting rid of these clouds. One of those is one of our in-house models. You see, it's got the cloud placement fairly accurate at the moment. But give it about an hour or two, it's it pretty much tries to wipe them out. Some other modeling that I've been looking at this morning is not as fast with this. And usually that's the case around here. You get clouds trapped in the Ohio River Valley. They do tend to break up slower than most of the modeling shows, but they all show the cloud cover breaking up. So that's good. So we are confident we're going to get some sunshine. It's just going to be at a different pace, depending on where you're at. So obviously, it's going to make it a cool day. Now, a normal high for this date, for the 7th day of March, is 55. And we're going to be close to that, it looks like, for this afternoon. We will likely be under that mark, though, coming up tomorrow. Now, speaking of tomorrow, notice the blue line, the freezing line. It does push in from the northeast. That's where the wind flow is going to be tonight. And this wind will actually be a little gusty tonight. It'll be a colder wind. I do think tomorrow morning when you head out to work and the kids head out to school, we are looking at fairly widespread wind chills in the 20s tomorrow morning. We haven't really, again, faced that in a while. We've been under the umbrella of record warmth the past several weeks. So this is going to be a bit of a shock to the system, even though it's nothing drastic and harsh. It's just, again, comparison to what we've had. That's what's going to make it stand out. Yes, there is snow breaking out on the leading edge of the actual boundary itself back into Missouri. No, that's not coming here. The air is quite dry, so I don't even think what they even show in Illinois has a good chance of reaching the ground. So dry air is going to eat at this as it comes in from the north and east. It's going to be cold, and it will stay cloudy throughout the day tomorrow. Therefore, our numbers will likely be a few degrees off the mark of what we are expecting for this afternoon. So some areas tomorrow, I don't know if we're even going to get above 48 for a high temperature. So a chilly Wednesday coming our way. Then we get into Thursday. It doesn't seem too bad on Thursday. We get into the 50s, and here comes the wall of rain. But that's still slated for late Thursday night into Friday. And this particular model is a little aggressive with it. There's some models that split this because, again, you're basically doing a wave break, if you will. You're getting one piece going north, one going to the southeast, and there's a gap that wants to form right here where they try to split apart. And I do think that may fall into wave country. So there is a chance that some of you will get very little rain out of this Thursday night. I don't think anyone's going to complain about that. I think we've had our share as of late, so we don't want more of that. We need the ground to dry out a bit more here as we're getting to that critical time of the year. We don't want a ton of rainfall to make everything too soggy, just enough to keep it to where we have a lush spring environment, right? But right now the trend is to go lower on this rain chance Thursday night, sunrise into Friday, then higher. So we'll see if that trend holds up or not. Then we get into the weekend. Here comes our next wave. Now, this one is going to take a dive. It'll be very similar to what I just described for Thursday night and Friday. It'll dive to the south and east, and then it'll want to turn over to the mid-Atlantic. as it tries to do so, it will really struggle to be organized as it moves through the Ohio River Valley. So there's just a narrow window. Late Sunday night and Monday, we could get maybe a brief mix involved, but around this time of the year, even a mix is a minor issue. You've got a very warm ground, or at least warm compared to what we would expect for early March already. It's fairly saturated. We have a lot of rain. There's not Arctic air we're working with here. It's just marginally cold, right? So even a mixed potential, yeah, it made the snowboard, but I don't think it's anything to be concerned about. Now, what is after this, I do think is a little more interesting. We're likely getting into a very much a blocking pattern. I'll show you why that's the case coming up, but we are going to end up with a pattern that's going to be very much stalled into eastern Canada. Because of that, it's basically a roadblock. Most of the low pressures have no choice but to go south and east. Then they get very close to the mid-Atlantic. That automatically, because the Gulf Stream, the way it is positioned there off the eastern seaboard, induces a stronger low pressure. So for those in the mid-Atlantic, New York City and Boston, they have to be excited about this pattern because it is a good one to really get a nor'easter to form. And now our area, couple things. One, you can get a low pressure that may try to at least deepen or get stronger as it moves across the Tennessee Valley. That's possible into next week. Or two, which is right now the scenario you're looking at, is that you end up with a stronger low pressure into areas of the mid-Atlantic into New England, and you end up with backlash, cold air, and snow showers in the Ohio Valley. So there's two different ways you can get snow in this kind of a setup. However, both are relatively light and not significant. I think this is one of those type of setups here that we're getting closer to the first day of spring coming up in less than, 15, 16 days. And once we get into that point, everyone's going to be in that mold. You know, we've been spoiled here lately with the warmer than average weather, record warmth, in fact. It's going to be a really slow start to spring with this kind of a pattern. You're just not going to get that kind of warmth that we've had as of late. As long as that blocking sets up into Canada like it looks like it will, you just cut off the chances of getting a lot of 70s and 80-degree temperatures into the area. Now, the plus side to that is you do reduce your severe thunderstorm potential as well, and it gives us a break from all that talk. And that looks to be the trend, at least the way it's looking at now. Here's the GFS Ensembles. I love looking at this because I think this is a great way to see the pattern ahead. You see this, the rain spike. That's Thursday night, Friday morning. Again, it's moves in fast, moves out. We don't know if it's going to hold together all the way, but that's our highest chance really in the 10-day. Then we get into Sunday and then into Tuesday, and you see where the blue line gets involved. Green is rain, blue is snow. It starts to show up in the ensembles, but they're not spiking. They're not above 30, 40% or anything. They're staying relatively low, which is pretty normal. But it just tells us that it's going to be a colder pattern, and to where you, especially at nighttime, you still have to watch the chance to get maybe some snow involved into that scenario. The matrix, can't talk today. Matrix itself. Why is that so hard to say? Matrix itself. Anyway, the ensembles, yeah, they're hinting at it as we head into Sunday, Monday, next week. It's a little noisy, but they're mainly gray. There's not a lot of blues or pink showing up. So again, relatively light or minor chances, but it's noisier than I would expect for this time period in March, especially our pattern as of late. And we have not seen it this busy since really January. February, again, was just kind of a bummer of a month for snow lovers there. One of the reasons why, again, I think the block is standing out is the NAO, the North Atlantic Oscillation. That is trending negative. That's going to be the key, it looks like. This, if it's going to snow for the rest of winter, and as I said yesterday, as a snow lover, I'm okay with it not at this point. I'm fine. Let's move on. But I know some hardcore snow lovers are still out there. You still want that spring snow. They don't last very long. You guys know that. But if it's going to snow, it's got 3 weeks. 3 weeks, I'll give it that. And then once we get to roughly, I would say maybe April 7th through April 10th, I see a flip kicking back in. We get warmer. We do get back into a rainier scenario. We do get back into a stormier pattern. And that may lock, and that may be it. We may get into the spring mold after that. And winter would be officially done on the snowfall side. If this all plays out the way it looks like it will, that's the storyline. The next couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, maybe a little more, that will be the rest of winter that we've got. So if it's going to snow, it's got to do it then. After that, we'll begin to flip. Type 1 if you're okay with that. Type 2 if you're not. Type 3 if you really don't want any of this and you just want 90 degrees every day. Angela, what questions you got, by the way, guys? I'm going to get to those now. Angela, morning, Brian. If looking at your power outages in Spencer County, check out the, let's see. Let me check your outage map there in Spencer County. Hold on one second, Angela. And again, this is coming from a source on outages. I'm not sure if it should include Salt River Electric. I'm pretty sure it does, included into the mix there. Now, I can't show you guys specifically locations on this map. I'm just giving you, it says 118 customers, about 1% of the county. But again, it may very well be your neighborhood. So kind of keep that in mind too. But I'm hoping today, as I mentioned earlier, we had that number really increase. I'm really hoping today things will get better. And we can see a significant change in the numbers. Who said that? Shonda, 20s. Yes, I do think 20s are showing up for next week, especially for low temperatures. But yes, wind chills tomorrow morning have a very good chance of being in the 20s as well. Good morning. How you doing? I hope all is well with you. Hello, Ashley. Let's see. I hope the severe weather. Leave for Disney the first week of May. Well, lucky. Why didn't you invite us? Wait a minute. You're going to Disney at Derby time? You can't leave. That's like in a rule book, right? Michael, can't wait to get the tomatoes out. Yeah. Well, you know the rule, and this is where I'm testing if you're from here or not. And there's actually 2 days. There's 2 days. What do we always say? There are 2 days you should wait before you plant. There's 2 of them. I think most people know the first one, but a lot of you probably know the second one as well. How many power outages into Franklin County? Let me check and see for you real quick. Give me 1 second. And let me pull up that screen real quick. All right. Let's see. Again, Franklin, I think you had a little bit higher percentage, if I remember right, 14%. So just over 950 customers without power. Let me check on Louisville, see if that looks any different. Still 16.7 right now to Jefferson County. All right. Let's see. Did y'all get both of them? Yep, Karen did. You got it. Jeremy, you got it. Hope all is well, Jeremy. Yep, Glenda, Derby, Mother's Day. You got it. Derby and Mother's Day are the 2 days that we always say. They're really usually pretty close together. So usually the first couple of weeks of May is the kind of general rule. All right, guys, I'm going to jet for now. Going to get over to the other room real quick, get some data worked on for the midday show, and hopefully get some sunshine here for this afternoon, and we'll take a look at some of those rain chances. And again, we may have to still adjust those for Thursday night into Friday. Otherwise, if you're still without power, stay close to the Wave Weather app. We'll continue to send you guys updates on our newscasts as we're getting more information on this. And hopefully we'll get everything back to some sense of normalcy here very, very soon, especially as we get into later this week before we get into that really cold stuff that's coming back our way. Have a good rest of the day, guys. I will see you on midday.